The human mind is the most powerful force within us, a divine gift that holds the key to every possibility, every opportunity, and every outcome in our lives. It is the birthplace of thoughts, dreams, and actions. If you want to change the course of your life, you must first begin with your mind. Your destiny is not shaped by circumstances outside of you, but by the inner workings of your mind. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life. To understand this is to recognize that education, true education, goes beyond acquiring facts or memorizing information. It is the intentional process of training your mind, renewing your thinking, and aligning your mindset with purpose and vision. Without this deliberate education, your mind remains vulnerable to negative influences, doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs that keep you trapped in a cycle of mediocrity. Every success story begins with a mind that refused to accept defeat. The champions you admire, the leaders who have changed the world, did not start with special talents or favorable circumstances. They started with a mindset shaped by education, discipline, and a vision for what could be. Your mind is like fertile soil. If you sow seeds of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, it will produce a harvest of success, growth, and breakthroughs. If you allow weeds of ignorance, fear, and negativity to take root, your destiny will be stunted and your potential left unfulfilled. The choice is yours, but it is a choice that begins with education, not simply in a classroom, but in the school of life, through reading, listening, reflecting, and applying truths that empower you. To educate your mind means to become intentional about what you feed it. The mind is a powerful instrument, but it is also vulnerable. It can be shaped by the voices you hear, the experiences you dwell on, and the habits you develop. If you allow discouragement, doubt, or negative talk to dominate your mind, you will find your destiny slipping further away. But if you discipline yourself to seek knowledge that uplifts, encourages, and expands your perspective, you will begin to see your world change. This education is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong pursuit. It requires perseverance, humility, and a hunger for growth. When you commit to educating your mind, you are declaring that you refuse to be a victim of your circumstances. Instead, you become the master of your destiny. The mind is the control center of all action. Before anything happens in the external world, it happens first in the mind. A thought is conceived, nurtured, and developed into a plan, then into action, and ultimately into reality. If your mind is not properly educated, your thoughts will be scattered, confused, and often contradictory. This leads to inconsistent actions and ultimately to unfulfilled dreams. But when your mind is educated, your thoughts become focused, clear, and purposeful. You learn to think strategically, to plan wisely, and to act boldly. This mental transformation is critical because it sets the trajectory of your life. If your mind is trained to think positively, creatively, and courageously, your destiny will align with greatness. Education of the mind also involves breaking free from limiting beliefs. Many people carry within them false ideas about who they are and what they are capable of. These beliefs act like invisible chains that hold them back from reaching their full potential. But education exposes these falsehoods and replaces them with truth. It teaches you that your circumstances do not define you, that failure is not final, and that growth is always possible. When your mind is educated with this kind of truth, it becomes a fortress against fear and doubt. It develops resilience and the ability to persevere through challenges. This is why education is so powerful. It not only fills your mind with knowledge, but also strengthens your spirit to face whatever comes your way. Moreover, Educating your mind requires discipline. Just as an athlete trains their body to perform at its best, you must train your mind to operate at its highest level. This means developing habits of reading, reflection, meditation, and continuous learning. It means guarding your mind against distractions and negative influences. It means choosing daily to feed your mind with what is true, noble, and inspiring. Discipline is the bridge between education and transformation. Without discipline, knowledge remains idle and potential remains dormant. But with discipline, education becomes the engine that drives you forward toward your destiny. The power of an educated mind also lies in its ability to influence others and create impact. When you educate your mind, you do not only transform your own life, you become a source of inspiration and leadership to those around you. Your thoughts shape your character, your decisions, and your actions, which in turn affect your family, your community, and even your nation. This is why investing in your mind is not selfish, it is a responsibility. The world needs leaders, innovators, and visionaries who have trained minds capable of solving problems and creating new opportunities. By educating your mind, you prepare yourself to fulfill. In addition, the mind's education leads to clarity of purpose. Many people wander through life without a clear sense of direction because their minds are cluttered with confusion, fear, and indecision. Education brings clarity by helping you understand your strengths, your values, and your mission. When your mind is educated, you can see beyond immediate challenges to the bigger picture of your life's purpose. This clarity fuels motivation and resilience because you are no longer moved by temporary circumstances, but by a deep inner conviction. Your mind becomes a beacon that guides you through uncertainty and empowers you to stay on course. Ultimately, to educate your mind is to unlock the doors of possibility. It is the key that opens every door of opportunity and breaks every barrier of limitation. No one can take away what you have learned and internalized in your mind. Knowledge becomes a permanent asset, an inheritance that cannot be stolen or lost. When you educate your mind, you build a foundation so strong that no external force can shake it. Your destiny is shaped not by what happens to you, but by how you think, how you perceive, and how you respond. The mind is your greatest asset. Invest in it wisely, and it will transform your life in ways you never imagined. The true power of education is not simply in the accumulation of facts or information, but in the transformation of the mind to perceive possibilities where others see problems. When a person is truly educated, their perspective shifts from limitation to opportunity. Obstacles, challenges, and difficulties are no longer barriers that halt progress, but rather stepping stones that lead to growth and breakthrough. This shift in perception is the hallmark of an empowered mind, one that has been trained to think beyond the immediate and visible, to see beyond what is obvious, and to envision what can be. It is this ability to see solutions beyond obstacles that distinguishes those who succeed from those who remain stuck in struggle. Every problem that confronts us has within it a seed of opportunity, but that seed remains hidden unless the mind is prepared to discover it. True education develops the skill to look deeper, to analyze circumstances carefully, and to extract the lessons and possibilities embedded in every situation. The uneducated mind sees obstacles as dead ends. The educated mind sees them as challenges to overcome, puzzles to solve, or even as a necessary part of the process toward achieving a greater goal. This mindset is cultivated by intentional learning, critical thinking, and the courage to explore beyond the surface. Without this, people are prone to despair and frustration, caught in a cycle of complaining about their difficulties without seeking or recognizing the solutions that lie before them. The ability to see solutions beyond obstacles is also closely tied to faith and vision. Education nurtures vision by equipping the mind with the tools to imagine what is possible. Vision is the capacity to see beyond the present reality and to anticipate a future that is better, greater, and more fulfilling. This kind of vision cannot flourish in a mind that is untrained or filled only with negative influences. It requires a mind that has been educated to think creatively and expansively. The educated mind asks questions such as, how can this be fixed? What can I learn from this? What opportunity is hidden here? These questions open doors that would otherwise remain closed. The mind becomes a workshop for innovation, ideas, and solutions. Moreover, true education teaches resilience. When the mind is educated, it is fortified against discouragement. Obstacles will come, but the educated mind understands that setbacks are temporary and are often the very means by which greater strength and wisdom are gained. This understanding transforms the way a person faces adversity. Instead of being defeated, they become determined. Instead of giving up, they keep moving forward. Education instills patience and persistence, recognizing that every obstacle is part of the journey and that each challenge overcome builds character and prepares a person for higher achievements. The educated mind is equipped not just with knowledge, but with the mental stamina needed to persevere through difficulties. In addition, education broadens the mind's capacity for problem solving. It trains the mind to think critically and strategically, to break down complex issues into manageable parts, and to develop creative solutions. Education exposes the mind to various disciplines, philosophy, science, history, and the arts, each offering different perspectives and tools for understanding the world. This diversity of knowledge empowers the mind to approach obstacles from multiple angles and to devise innovative strategies that others may not see. The educated mind is not confined by a single way of thinking. It is flexible, adaptable, and open to new ideas. This openness is crucial when facing obstacles because it allows the individual to adjust their approach and keep searching for solutions until they succeed. Another essential aspect of true education is the development of emotional intelligence. Overcoming obstacles is not only a mental challenge, but an emotional one. Fear, doubt, frustration, and anxiety can cloud judgment and paralyze action. Education helps to cultivate self-awareness and emotional regulation, enabling a person to manage their emotions constructively. An educated mind remains calm under pressure, focused amid chaos, and confident in the face of uncertainty. This emotional resilience is critical because it prevents the mind from being overwhelmed by obstacles and instead channels energy into finding solutions. When the mind and emotions are educated together, they become a powerful force for overcoming adversity. Furthermore, education fosters a mindset of responsibility and empowerment. It teaches that while we may not control every circumstance, we have control over how we respond. This mindset shifts the individual from a position of helplessness to one of authority over their own life. Educated individuals understand that their power lies in their choices, decisions, and attitude. They refuse to blame external forces for their problems. Instead, they take ownership and seek ways to navigate through difficulties. This sense of responsibility energizes the mind to act rather than react, to create rather than complain. It is a mindset that views obstacles not as excuses, but as invitations to rise higher. The role of mentors and learning communities is also vital in empowering the mind to see beyond obstacles. True education does not happen in isolation. It thrives in environments where ideas are exchanged, challenges are discussed, and wisdom is shared. Being around others who have a solution-oriented mindset influences and shapes one's own thinking. Education includes learning from those who have walked the path before and who have discovered ways to overcome obstacles. This collective wisdom broadens one's horizon and builds confidence. It reassures the mind that obstacles are not unique or insurmountable and that others have found paths through them. In the same way, education nurtures hope, which is essential for seeing solutions. Hope is the expectation that things can and will improve. It fuels the mind with positive anticipation and energizes the pursuit of solutions. When education fills the mind, it dispels despair and hopelessness, replacing them with a confident belief that every obstacle is temporary and every challenge is surmountable. This hope creates momentum, propelling a person forward even when the path is difficult or unclear. Hope, coupled with an educated mind, creates a powerful combination that enables people to break through barriers that would otherwise stop them. True education also sharpens discernment, the ability to distinguish between what is useful and what is harmful, between what will lead to progress and what will cause setbacks. This discernment protects the mind from distractions, false solutions, and negative influences that can derail progress. An educated mind evaluates options carefully and chooses the best course of action. This careful discernment is vital when facing obstacles because not every apparent solution is the right one. The mind must be trained to see clearly, to prioritize, and to take actions that align with long-term goals rather than short-term relief. Lastly, education builds confidence. When the mind is educated and equipped with knowledge and skills, it naturally develops confidence. This confidence is not arrogance, but a quiet assurance rooted in preparation and understanding. Confidence empowers a person to face obstacles head-on without fear or hesitation. It gives the courage to take risks, to try again after failure, and to persist where others quit. Confidence is the fuel that keeps the mind moving forward towards solutions, and it grows exponentially as the mind is educated and experience is gained. In summary, true education does far more than transfer information. It transforms the way the mind perceives reality. It empowers the individual to see solutions beyond obstacles by cultivating vision, resilience, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, responsibility, hope, discernment, and confidence. It changes the narrative from one of limitation to one of opportunity and potential. This kind of education is the foundation for overcoming challenges and achieving greatness. It is a lifelong process that requires commitment, discipline, and an open heart and mind. Through this education, the mind becomes a powerful instrument, capable of navigating any storm and emerging victorious. The journey to overcoming any challenge in life begins not in the external world, but within the very core of who you are, your mind. The mind is the battlefield where victory or defeat is first determined. To overcome means to rise above difficulties, to break through barriers, and to conquer the forces that seek to hold you back. But this conquest is impossible without a mind that has been renewed, disciplined, and enlightened. A renewed mind is one that has undergone transformation, shedding old patterns of thinking that limit and confine, and adopting new ways of understanding that empower and liberate. It is the process of reprogramming your mental framework to align with truth, purpose, and potential. Renewal of the mind is critical because the mind left unchecked tends to operate out of habit, fear, and misconception. Many people live their entire lives trapped by outdated beliefs, negative self-talk, and faulty assumptions about themselves and the world around them. These mental chains keep them confined in cycles of defeat and disappointment. To overcome, the mind must be renewed by replacing these destructive thoughts with empowering truths. This is not a superficial change, but a deep, fundamental transformation. It requires the intentional effort to examine your beliefs, challenge what is false, and embrace new insights that reflect your true identity and purpose. This renewal opens the door for fresh possibilities and new ways of facing life's challenges. Discipline is the companion of renewal. Without discipline, renewal remains an idea without action. Discipline is the practice of consistently applying the truths and insights gained through renewal. It is the daily commitment to guard your mind against negativity, distraction, and defeatist thinking. Discipline shapes your habits and thought patterns, training your mind to respond to challenges with strength, clarity, and persistence. Like a muscle, the mind grows stronger through regular exercise and focused attention. Discipline creates the structure that allows the renewed mind to thrive. It is through discipline that you maintain control over your thoughts, resist destructive impulses, and keep your focus on the goal of overcoming. Enlightenment is the light that guides the renewed and disciplined mind. To be enlightened means to have clarity, wisdom, and understanding that illuminates your path. Enlightenment frees you from confusion and fear, replacing them with insight and confidence. When your mind is enlightened, you see beyond the immediate difficulty to the greater purpose behind it. You begin to understand that challenges are not punishments or signs of failure, but opportunities for growth and refinement. Enlightenment gives you the perspective to endure hardships with hope and patience. It also grants discernment, enabling you to distinguish between what is true and what is false, what is helpful and what is harmful. This clarity is essential for making wise decisions and for navigating obstacles without becoming overwhelmed. The renewal of the mind often begins with awareness. Awareness is the realization that your current way of thinking may be limiting your potential. This awakening is the first step toward change because it opens your eyes to the need for transformation. Without awareness, you remain unconscious of the mental barriers you have accepted as truth. Becoming aware allows you to take responsibility for your thoughts and the direction of your life. It is a moment of empowerment where you acknowledge that you have the capacity to choose new thoughts, new beliefs, and new attitudes. This conscious decision to renew your mind is a declaration that you will no longer be a prisoner of old mindsets, but will embrace a higher standard of thinking. Discipline requires more than good intentions. It demands practical strategies and consistent effort. Developing discipline in your mind means setting boundaries on what you allow to enter your consciousness. It means choosing carefully the media you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the influences you permit. It means creating habits that reinforce positive thinking, such as daily affirmations, meditation, journaling, or study of uplifting material. Discipline also involves rejecting mental laziness, the tendency to drift into unproductive or negative thought patterns, and instead actively redirecting your mind toward constructive focus. This kind of discipline is not always easy, especially when faced with stress or adversity, but it is the foundation for sustained mental strength and resilience. Enlightenment deepens as you immerse yourself in truth and wisdom. This can come from various sources: spiritual teachings, mentors, life experience, and reflective practice. Each source contributes to a clearer understanding of who you are and what you are capable of overcoming. Enlightenment also cultivates humility as you recognize that no one has all the answers, but that wisdom is found in the pursuit of knowledge and in learning from others. It encourages a mindset of growth rather than fixed limitation. When enlightened, you become less reactive to problems and more proactive in seeking solutions. This elevated perspective allows you to handle setbacks not as failures, but as feedback and opportunities for improvement. The process of renewing, disciplining, and enlightening the mind creates a powerful synergy. Renewal provides the foundation by changing what you believe. Discipline builds the structure by controlling how you think. And enlightenment adds the light by revealing why you think and what direction to take. Together, they transform the mind into a fortress that can withstand external pressures and internal doubts. This fortified mind is essential for overcoming because life's challenges are relentless and often unpredictable. Only a mind that is prepared in these three ways can maintain hope, clarity, and determination when the storms of life rage. A renewed mind also fosters creativity and problem solving. When old limitations are removed and discipline channels your mental energy, you can think more clearly and inventively. Enlightenment inspires you to look beyond the obvious and to explore alternative paths. This mental flexibility is crucial for overcoming because challenges rarely have a single solution. An enlightened mind is open to new ideas and willing to adapt strategies when necessary. It does not give up at the first sign of difficulty, but seeks multiple ways to succeed. This adaptability is a direct result of the ongoing process of renewal, discipline, and enlightenment. Another important aspect is emotional resilience. Overcoming is not only a mental exercise, but an emotional one. The mind and emotions are deeply connected, and a renewed, disciplined, and enlightened mind helps regulate emotions so that they do not control you. Instead of being overwhelmed by fear, anxiety, or discouragement, you learn to manage these feelings constructively. This emotional balance allows you to maintain focus and composure even under pressure. It strengthens your resolve and prevents impulsive reactions that could sabotage your progress. Emotional resilience is therefore an essential outcome of training the mind in these three dimensions. The community and environment you surround yourself with also play a role in maintaining a renewed, disciplined, and enlightened mind. Being around positive influences reinforces your mental transformation. Supportive relationships provide encouragement, accountability, and wisdom that helps sustain your commitment to overcoming. Conversely, negative environments can undermine your progress by feeding doubt, fear, and complacency. Therefore, part of disciplining the mind involves choosing your associations carefully and creating a lifestyle that nurtures your mental and spiritual growth. Spiritual principles often underscore the importance of renewing, disciplining, and enlightening the mind. Many teachings emphasize that the mind is the gateway to life and that transformation begins there. The spiritual mind is one that is aligned with divine truth and purpose. This alignment brings peace, confidence, and direction that are essential for overcoming life's challenges. When the mind is spiritually renewed, disciplined, and enlightened, it reflects a higher wisdom that transcends circumstances and connects to a greater power. This connection provides strength beyond human ability and sustains the mind in times of trial. Ultimately, overcoming is a process that requires more than physical strength or external resources. It demands an internal revolution, a transformation of the mind that begins with renewal, is sustained by discipline, and is guided by enlightenment. This internal work prepares you to face life's difficulties with courage, clarity, and confidence. It equips you to break free from past limitations and to step into your full potential. This powerful mindset becomes the foundation on which every victory is built and every barrier is broken.